Hi guys, and welcome to Love Yourself to Success podcast. I'm your host Aaliyah.
And I'm Chanel.
And we'll be discussing all things self-love related.
We'll be discussing unselfish self-love,
healing practices,
deep wisdom,
empowerment,
universal concepts,
manifestation,
mindset shift,
boundaries,
and communication,
reinvention,
and real deep truths.
This is Self-Love Redefined. Hi guys, welcome to episode 7.
I believe.
I think, yeah. And today's a special day because you've got our first guest on the show, Roshan Roberts. Roshan is co-founder of the Dope Black Women podcast and brand. Please go follow them on Instagram at Dope Black Women. And she's also a radio producer for the BBC. Woo! Black girl doing her thing. So today we're just going to talk about a little bit about Roshan's journey and also just about Black women issues and just about how summer 2020 is going, COVID 2020. So, hey Roshan, thanks for coming on. So do you want to just talk us through how you've kind of navigated through the last kind of 3 to 4 months with COVID, Black Lives Matter, you working as well?
Yeah, it's been weird. It's been interesting. 3 months ago would have been when, like March, April. Yeah. I just came back from a holiday. I had planned.
Did you actually get the chance to go on holiday this year?
Yeah, I went on 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lucky for you.
I had planned to have gone on like 1 every month.
Yeah.
So I just came back and then I was ill, and this is when COVID first came about and no one was taking it seriously. So I was like, oh, I'm ill, it's COVID.
Yeah.
I can't come to work. Yeah. So I was just off for 2 weeks, just chilling, and I thought it was the time of my life. And then COVID actually kicked in, where they were like, okay, no one can be at work anymore, no one can be in the office.
Yeah.
But because obviously it's the first time this has happened in like years or anything serious has happened, I don't think like companies knew how to handle it.
Yeah.
So everyone was at home just chilling, not really doing much work. Mm-hmm. So that was like me. And for the first 5 days, everyone was on house parties. So I was like, yeah.
You was on as well, DJing and that.
Good. I was just chatting shit to all these people, all like strangers. It was just really good. And actually that period of being on house party actually helped with my confidence. Because I'd wake up in the morning and be like, it's quarantine, like no one's doing their hair, no one's doing this, and then just be talking to these strangers, and it was just mad. It was like I was networking, but in my bed. It was just weird.
Yeah, that's lovely.
It's
lovely.
It was nuts.
Perspective.
Yeah, and then that happened, but then we went to the opposite. So then it was like I just felt lost because I felt like there was so much negative information. It became like a dark hole of negative information. So like everyone was obsessed with talking about COVID. So it was like I go downstairs in my house, they're talking about COVID. I switch on the TV, they're talking about COVID.
Yeah.
I go on Instagram, they're talking about COVID. Like, everything was COVID. And like with me, I'm very like, as much as I work in the media industry, I'm very conscious about what media I consume.
For sure.
So I don't really like read the news or watch the news, even though I trained as a journalist.
Yeah.
I have like alerts on my phone that are to like certain news stories. If they come up, I'll read them. And if they don't, I'm not going to read them.
Yeah.
Most of the time I find news from the Shade Borough or from Twitter or online, and it's normally news that's more relevant to what I want to like consume or listen to. So then it was just a really dark time. I felt like I was struggling a lot mentally because I just felt very isolated being trapped in my house.
Yeah.
Because as much as I'm not someone that's like out gallivanting all the time, I do like socialising.
Yeah.
And it might just be coming to my friend's house and chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even not speaking to them whilst I'm there, but it's not being in my house. Whereas the room I'm staying in right now is quite small. So I was literally in this confined box and it was just a lot to deal with at the time. And then I got into a routine with work, so that got a lot more better.
Yeah.
So I started breaking the rules.
You don't give a fuck about the rules.
So it was, I just started breaking the rules. I had to. I remember I said on the Dope Black Women podcast, I was like, I'm going to either die by suicide or die by COVID. And I'd rather die by COVID at this point. So that's what it was. On the podcast, they'll be talking about something and I'd be like, I'm going to have to lie because I'm not meant to be doing this because of COVID. And I was like, no, fuck it. This is what I'm doing.
Life.
Yeah.
And I have to do it because my sanity is going to be at stake.
Yeah.
So I found a routine. And then, in regards to work, I've always been working this whole time, so that's gone well. And it's kind of worked in my favour. So in the media industry, it's really hard to get like permanent contracts. Okay. I was then made permanent, so that's worked well. And then
Yeah,
now...
because you wasn't sure if your contract was going to be...
Yeah, it was
renewed.
meant to end in May, and then it got made permanent in May. So then now I'm looking at it like it's worked out for the best because I've been able to save loads. Like traveling to Central is expensive.
Yeah,
I've been
it
crash
is.
saving. Like all of my money has
Same.
just gone saving.
Yeah.
So now I look at it in reflection that it was actually a really good time for me.
Yeah.
I was able to spend time with people that I love, spend time doing other things like going to a park. I'm not really into the park vibes.
Yeah.
If I go to a park, I'll more like stand up.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
I've been going there and sitting down.
Yeah.
Like the other morning I went by myself and just chilled on my ones in the park. And I would never imagine doing that.
Outside of COVID.
Outside of COVID. Whereas now it's like, okay, I can go to the park and just talk to myself for a bit. It's not weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's nice though.
Yeah. Really
So
nice.
yeah.
For sure. Some nice. I feel like I got a lot of good epiphanies. Just.
I like your lip gloss.
Oh,
Sorry.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
nice.
sparkly, subtle. Thank you. Like, but yeah, I definitely had so much time to reflect, to save. Do you know what I mean? And review, even just review things, my finances and everything. And it's been quite refreshing in that way. Like to be able to, I feel like I've been able to have like a whole new
Perspective.
just
Eyes.
looked at everything again. Like,
Don't you feel like the world slowed down?
Yeah.
yeah, and
And
it
it
gave me
needs
the
to
time to
happen.
actually re-evaluate everything.
Yeah.
You know, because some of these things just.
But yeah, I feel like it's been nice hearing another like women's perspective on things, because I feel like a lot of people have been feeling guilty, which we spoke about previously, about wanting to break the rules, so to speak. And like Roshan said, like if your mental health is at stake, don't feel like you can't do what you want to do if that's going to be a detriment to your mental health.
And obviously there's boundaries. Like I wasn't
Of
going
course.
to the parties and doing
yeah,
the
like
crowds,
there is
do you know what I
boundaries,
mean?
but I also feel like, again, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. Do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't necessarily going to parties because that's not really what I was on. Like to be honest with you, like since COVID, I've realised I miss my partying like a lot, but at the same time, there's a lot of things I realised that before I would have seen as a necessity is not a necessity. For example, every month I'd always go to Chanel to get my lashes done, standard, or I'd always do my nails. Like now, I'm actually enjoy like not having my nails done, not having my lashes done, being fresh faced and all this stuff. I was never really a makeup all the time person anyway, but it's just been nice just to reset. And it's also allowed me to gain confidence in myself, because for the first time in ages, everybody on their Snapchat has been, oh, I can't get my nails done, oh, I can't get my hair done, oh. So it's created a space where we can all feel confident.
safe space,
Where we can all feel confident in being ourselves without being judged, because we're all in the same position.
100.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that was really nice. But one thing that I would like to touch on though is that I feel like since things have eased, women in particular have kind of stepped back into that lack mindset and that kind of haterism mindset of like, oh, what she has, because she's got it, or she's got what's mine, or da-da-da-da. I feel like for that small period of time, we were all on the same page.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it makes me upset, because I'm like, we always speak about that there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
And when people realise, or when women realise that as a collective, we're more powerful than just as individuals, we will start running the world. We're already nearly there. Do you know what I mean?
I definitely think this is an issue as well. Like I'm black, so I can only talk about the black community.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a big issue there as well, with us looking at each other as competition. So even like there's certain girls that I've seen that I've helped to get to places, and I would never look at it like I've helped them to get to places, but I have, and I don't even accredit that. So now they're in these new spaces. It's like who was I?
I feel like I've
Do you get what I
experienced
mean?
that my whole life.
And I find that ludicrous. I'm not gonna stop me doing what I'm doing.
Ludicrous.
Honestly, I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm
absurd.
doing, but I'm like, a little text to say thanks, sis, would have been nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or even like when you're having a conversation with your girls, your sisters, it's like, you know, some acknowledgement at some point, like, because I know I've said to some of my girls before, like, I remember a time when you gave me certain advice and you really helped me with that. Do you know what I mean? And it's not even about having to be like, oh, you need to pat me on the back, but it's just like a little bit of acknowledgement,
Appreciation.
like girl, like I
Yeah.
appreciate that you kind of show me certain things, or even if it's like a lot later or after the success. Sometimes it is nice to acknowledge or recognize the people that have helped
Yeah.
you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know, no one gets anywhere by themselves.
100%.
You know, like everybody, and I don't know anyone personally that's made it in life that's done it completely by themselves.
100%. 100%.
But it's a disease.
Yeah, no, 100%. And for us, like, the only way that we can help or assist people, women, in coming out of that mindset is if it starts with yourself, and it starts 100%. With self-love. Like, once you become more in tune with who you are, and once you start loving who you are, you then automatically pour that love out to everyone else. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's also about confidence. So like, I've got like a few friends who are in the same industry as me, and they will send me jobs we're both going to apply for.
I love that.
And when you're confident in your ability, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I worked on a show, and the producer who joined temporarily ended up being someone I'm really good friends with. She's actually on the Don't Lock Women podcast, Olivia. And we've both gone for jobs together. I've sent her a job and been like, I'm going for it, you go for it. There's only one role.
I love that.
But we're both sick at our job. So it's like, if I win, you win. And if you win, I win. And if people get it, we're just going to laugh.
Yeah.
And that happened once. We both went for a job that I know we should have both got. And we didn't get it. And it was just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But I don't look at it like that. Like, I said to her, I remember, because one of the jobs, my anxiety was really, really high. So I didn't tell her I was going for the interview. I told her to apply for the job, and I was interested, but I didn't tell her I'd actually gone through it, because I've got really bad anxiety. So if I'm applying for jobs and stuff, I just need to not talk to anyone about it.
Yeah.
So in the interview, she was before me. So when I walked in, she walked out. Oh my god! And then my mum was with me, because this is how my anxiety is. My mum comes with me to my interviews.
Yeah.
So my mum was like, my mum pulled to her side, and I hid, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And I went in, and when I came out, I was like, just so you know, no. Before for a different job. Sorry, I'm trying my best. For a different job, we spoke about going for it. One before this one. And I remember her asking me, do you mind if I apply for it? And I said to her, what's meant for me won't pass me by. I know I'm sick, so if I get this, it's because of my talent in that interview. And that's it. And I feel like if people have that, not everyone's got to think like me, but if people have the mentality of confidence within themselves, they won't feel a way to be like, let me share this opportunity with you. In the same way with like girls with their Snapchat, sometimes you'll see girls tag their friends on snaps when they're putting up pictures, but the friend that's the pretty friend, they don't tag. Why are you not tagging her?
Yeah.
Why are you seeing her as a threat?
100%.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's little things like that that I'm really like conscious of, and I pick up on.
It's like a lack thing.
Yeah.
It's like a lack
It is.
mentality.
It's insecurity.
Yeah.
It's insecurity.
100%. And I feel like women, if you feel like you demonstrate any of those traits, there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like it's something that you need to go inward with.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Do
you know what it is? Like, no, do you know what it is? Because I feel like ultimately, even though it can be kind of, you know, like upsetting for the ladies out here who would like a little bit of support, do you know what I mean? I feel like that type of mindset and behaviour only really ultimately affects the person that's doing it the most.
Yeah.
Because where you're spending all that time and energy being jealous or hating or not wanting other people to progress, feeling salty for other people to progress, like, you know, it's taking your own energy. And where you could have collaborated, inspired, because when you inspire other people will try and inspire you, you're open to, you just rob yourself of so many things. So I feel like it's not great. It's not a great trait to have for other people to experience, but you're just doing yourself a disservice mostly. Do you know what I mean? And we actually all hold ourselves back as a collective by not doing that.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
honestly, because everybody always says it, like, even people that are ignorant, they always say, the Jews all stick together, the Asians all stick together. It's even the dumbest person knows that, but we don't act any different.
Yeah. We're scared of the Sky, guys. Everyone knows who Sky is. But yeah, and it's like, even do you know what I find interesting? Like, okay, so Beyonce just released her Black King, I think, was it film on Disney Plus. I don't really, like, Beyonce's cool, but I don't really idolise her as a lot of women do. And then you see all these posts. Oh my God, Beyonce, she's in Africa doing this. She's representing for the black women. All these people, everyone idolise people like Beyonce. When it comes to their close friends and their sisters in the community, they're not doing the same thing, and it baffles me. Like, everyone's so quick to comment on celebrities' posts, so quick to comment on, I don't know, a presenter or someone who's in the eye, but when it comes to your friends, I can just about get a comment.
Do you know what it is? People suffer with, like, I don't know, fanism. I don't know if it's a word. I just made it up. I
You
don't
just
know.
made it up.
But yeah, like your whole fan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you're just fanning after people that are. And this is what I was saying every time I think about saying like people sometimes only really want to support you, give you credit when they see you're way gone. And it's kind of like that at that point you're just a fan. Like,
but do you know? Yeah, I find when it comes to support, I find this conversation so interesting because one of my close friends, we had an argument. And when we reconciled, she said, "Oh, I don't feel like you support me." And I feel like support comes in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
So she was saying, like, I've got all these people that, so she's a creative, and the content that she puts out, she's lots of people that are like post her on her stories, and even people that are like my friends that she knows, but they're not really her friends. They post her on their stories and promote her, whereas she doesn't see me doing that.
Okay.
But I'm like, cool, I don't do that. But when I'm in certain rooms, I put your name in those rooms, and those people don't do that. Do you understand what I mean? And so I don't use my social media in a way that those people use it. So just because I'm not posting doesn't mean I'm not supporting you. When you're making this content and you want advice on the first draft, just showing it to me, not those people. They haven't got time for you. So like sometimes I think we've got to be conscious about how we view support.
For sure.
Because I might have a friend who never posts my stuff, never likes it, never comments.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my mental well-being and mental state, they're the person that I can go to no matter what. And that's I'd actually value that more as a friend. The people that are commenting, because some people comment to make themselves feel good. I've been guilty of it before, not with supporting friends, but just like my intentions. Like sometimes I do things, and am I doing it for the other person, or am I doing it for how it makes myself feel? And that's what I think people do with support. So I've got a friend, and she'll support lots of people and post their stuff. She's not engaging with their pages. She doesn't even know what the page is about. But she'll just share it because to her it's like she's showing support. I don't want that.
And that's her way though.
I'd rather you not do that. Don't follow Don't Black Women if you don't even know the ethos behind it.
I get 100%.
Follow someone else.
But again, that's about authenticity though. Like for me personally, I'm not going to repost something, whether that's my friend or not. I'm not going to repost something that doesn't resonate with me. Do you get what I'm saying? And there are people who are just posting just so that they can say, "Oh, I reposted it for you, babe," or you know what I mean? But I do agree with you, and it's quite funny because I had this conversation with Roshan off camera about a week or two ago, and when she challenged me on like, okay, but do your friends support you in any other way? I was kind of like, okay, maybe she has a point. But at the same time, there are a lot of friends
that are haters.
That are haters. I mean, this is the thing. I wouldn't necessarily call them haters.
Okay, maybe not haters. They don't want to see you win.
But no, okay, they are haters. That's the reality of it. But they are in denial to the fact that that's what they're projecting because of their own issue. It's not intentional. Like for example, I have friends that will see my story or watch my podcast, and then they WhatsApp me their feedback, which is great. Roshan would say that's being a supportive friend. But for me personally, like, as you can see that I'm trying to build my brand, I would much prefer it that you did post it on like, I appreciate your comments and saying, "Oh, I think this
negative feedback, or was it positive?"
No, it's positive.
Oh.
Positive.
So they comment like.
Right. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly,
So for me, it's like, if you're sending me positive feedback,
I thought she meant negative. No, that's nice.
No, so it's like they'd watch it and then just like in the middle of watching it, oh my god, that bit was so sick. It's like, whilst I appreciate your comments, it would be great if you could share with the rest of the world that you're enjoying it and that they should listen to it also.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like, for me, I do kind of eye it slightly because I'm kind of like, why would you not just repost, especially because you're watching. This is what baffles me, everyone's on their devices all the time. Do you get what I'm saying?
24/7.
It literally, so when you're watching my podcast, it's very likely that you're either listening to it on audio from your phone, or you're watching a clip on Instagram from your phone, or you're watching it on YouTube from your phone.
And it's actually more effort to swipe out the app
and go to WhatsApp and message me. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, whilst I appreciate those friends, you see a bit of BS in it. Yeah, I would really appreciate it. Like, and if you generally felt like it's something that you felt like should be shared with the world and resonates with you, why would you not put it on your story?
And that's the question.
And that is the question.
Why?
And hopefully you guys can answer in the comments, please. But
I do find
the truth is, it's that like, oh my god, like, look at you doing this, and it's a shame because for a lot of my let's not call them friends, because for my actual friends, my 5 friends, I don't have that issue. For my acquaintances outside of my close friendship, like, I want to be that friend that inspires my friends to
do better.
Not to necessarily do better, but to just be fearless. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I would say none of my friends are in like real difficult positions, but just to believe in themselves and believe that if anything that you want to achieve, just go for it and don't worry about what I want. That's what I want to inspire my friends to do, or I hope that I inspire my friends to do. So yeah, like if you see the podcast and you think it's good, can you just like support the ting, please? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it's
simple.
just, and it's actually authenticity.
No, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like in energy, what you give out, you get back.
Yeah.
Again, like you're just, by holding back and repressing certain things and allowing yourself to be in that lower mode of, instead of, how could I support?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or how can I assist? How can we collaborate? How can, do you know what I mean? Rather than, well, she gets it. It's just too much. I don't really
But
care.
also, I think it's going back to the confidence thing again. It's how they view themselves.
Yeah.
Because if someone is in a job that they don't like, and they see you in a job that you like, naturally it's going to make them feel away if they're not a confident person.
And they're not working on self.
Do you understand what I mean? So if they're in a job they don't like, but it's achieving their goals, because that happens sometimes. This job might pay really well, but actually you're using it for your side hustle, blah, 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 blah. If it's that essence, you're not really going to have haterade.
Yeah.
But if it's a job you actually don't like, and then you see someone winning, you might not want to share their post, because to you it feels uncomfortable to see someone in a career that they actually love and want to do. Or even like stepping out and doing something like this. Like some of your friends might not... You're quite a private person when it comes to social media. So now have a platform where you're doing videos, you're doing podcasting. So then it might be like, raw, how did Leah do? Like she's stepping out of the box.
Yeah.
And it's stuff they want to step out of the box on that they haven't done.
It's like, let us use these things as inspiration, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, let's see someone doing something that maybe we wish we could do, or something that seems like, raw. And if it resonates with you, then take inspiration and think, well, if that's something I really want to do, or I wish I could do, how would I go about learning how to do it? How would I go about starting it? Because we had to learn from beginning
100%.
in everything that we're doing. Do you know what I mean? When you start a new job, when you are learning whatever, you've always got to start from somewhere. So rather than, oh, she's doing this and oh, she's doing that, do you. Do you know what I mean? The more you do you, is the more you don't have to worry about what other people are doing, and then at some point you might genuinely start to feel
100%.
Just happier within yourself, and also actually feeling like you can give to others too. Because sometimes if your cup is empty or you're running on half empty, you actually don't even have the emotional energy, the mental energy, or sometimes the physical energy to even be involved in it. Do you know what I mean? So it's 2020, man. Let's do better.
100%. But for those, if you're listening to this and you feel like what we're saying does resonate with you, like, it's okay though. Like, I feel like as long as you become self-aware that you have some of these traits, you can now make the decision if you're going to choose to work on it and navigate differently when it comes to supporting your friends. And I'll just say, just sit on that thought, really. But also don't feel guilty, because we all are growing, we all are learning. But I do think it's something that we need to be more aware of, especially while we're all going through this, especially as Black women, Black Lives Matter, and supporting Black businesses and Black Pound Day. We're making such small steps, which is really nice to see. But for us to really unite and be the power that we need to be, we do have to build a genuine sisterhood. It can't happen any other way. Do you know what I mean? Forget the men for a second, because women run things, okay? Like, we do have to come together and put our own insecurities, issues on the side. And I feel like once you speak your truth and you become aware of it, you can then speak to your friend about it and say, look, this is how I'm feeling, how do I go about this? Or you can message us or email us or get at Dope Black Women and ask them how they navigate through things. I mean, as well as podcasts, Dope Black Women also do lives. Is it weekly lives?
Yeah, every Monday.
And it's normally Black women that you have on, isn't it?
It's only Black women.
Only Black women.
Yeah.
See? And they normally come from all different backgrounds, different businesses. I think you had a financial one. Did you have a financial?
Yeah, it's always like not random stuff. It's always really different, and it's not just the UKE, but it's like international.
Exactly. So let's just navigate talk a bit about what made you want to do a podcast.
I didn't actually want to do it. Keeping it 100. I started Dope Black Women, and that was out of fear as well. Okay. So all the things you're talking about, all things that I can relate to, that was out of fear as well. And when I started that, we're part of a wider family. So Dope Black Dads and Dope Black Mums, they're like the first two, and then Dope Black Women. there'll soon be Dope Black Men, etc., etc. And the model that we kind of should follow is sort of like this. We have our own thing, like the way Dope Black Woman is ran is by myself and Leanne Levers, but we have to have some sort of uniform in our approach. So because they all have podcasts, we had to do one.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll produce the podcast. That's what I do in my day-to-day job.
Yeah.
I'll produce the podcast. I don't want to present.
Yeah.
And then Leanne was like, no, we've got to be on it. And I was like, okay, we'll do one of me on it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then now I'm just stuck
On
here
it.
and
Yeah.
just doing it. But it genuinely is like so rewarding doing it. And now I'm happy that I have done it because the reasons that was holding me back from doing it
Which were?
don't make sense. It was just like lack of confidence. I used to, not really now, but I used to have a complex about the way I spoke. It was like,
So did I as well.
I'm really like transparent and I'm really honest naturally.
Yeah.
So it was like having to think, do I now filter myself? Like, do I now, or do I just be me? And if I am me, what if I get a backlash, or what if I don't? So on my podcast, I always say, if you want to cancel me. Like I always say like things like that because I'm really honest on it. So even like when we've seen things recently about things people that have said that are problematic, I don't come on the podcast and talk about, oh, they said this. Bro, I was that person. I did say that, but I'm not that person now. And
we change every day,
it's
right?
what we were saying a minute ago. Like, if you can own it and grow from it, like, it's not a problem.
100%.
So, the podcast is just about really, like, uplifting black women, but also growing. So I feel like if for people that listen to it, we're growing together. Like, we've got a lot of white people that actually listen to the podcast. And I mean old white people.
I like that.
And for me, that inspires me because old white people, and it's old people in general, are the ones that actually need educating the most.
100%.
And the more we filter through the generations, the more we're going to create change. And I get a lot of white people that will message me and be like, well, not even me personally, but the podcast, and be like, I listened to this and I learnt this, thank you, or this and that, thank you. So now the podcast feels like I'm creating change. And the same as what you guys are doing. Every time you do a podcast, it makes someone think about something different. Even if you're talking about something that might be, you did one before, I can't remember what it was, and it was slightly different to like my beliefs, but to hear someone else's perspectives, it was like, oh, okay, man, I can get that more. I can understand my friends that have that opinion more. Like, you're always learning something, and that's so rewarding.
Opens your
to
mind.
be a part of allowing people to learn and educate themselves. You're helping other people grow, and that's
beautiful.
That's just
man.
lit.
I feel like that's just good karma, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't lie. I do. I feel like if you're helping other people,
And I feel
great
like society is very money driven. I've been money driven from young, and that's just because I've grown up in a household where sorry guys, just gotta fix this. I've grown up in a household where I wasn't just given stuff. Not that I necessarily didn't have stuff. My mum could have, but she always taught me from young, if you want something, you've got to work for it. So I've always had a very strong work ethic, and I've always been quite money motivated. But outside of that, I've realised I'm driven by being a service to others. Does that make sense? Like, my day job, which is in real estate, I am consistently helping people trying to find a new home. And when I think about what I enjoy the most, yes, I do get paid some good money for doing my job. What I enjoy the most is that end result of helping that person get their new home. A home's a big thing. Like, a home's what creates stability for families. It creates an environment. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, when I actually sat back and I realised that actually what I enjoy the most is being of service to others, that also made it easier for me to do this podcast.
Finding a purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like, because even similar to Roshan, I had lots of fears. Like Roshan said, I'm very private. I don't really use social media that much. Still don't. Tried, but whatever, in the flow. And yeah, like, I was quite scared to like expose myself like in this way, but actually, because I am living my truth, there ain't shit that nobody can say about me that I don't already know about myself.
What did we say the other day? I used this. So me and Leah was talking the other day, and we was talking about like growing and working on ourselves. And when people tell you stuff about yourself that you already know, and she was like, I'm working on it, it's in progress.
Yeah,
And someone was
it's
talking
true.
to me the other day, and I was like, it's a work in progress.
But it's true, because I think when you can hold yourself accountable, there isn't really anything that anyone can say about me that I'm not already aware of, because I am in tune with who I am. Do you get what I'm saying? So it made me realise I can step into my power fully, and yes, I can be on a podcast. Yes, I can say my opinion, because that's my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion, and if you don't agree with that, then that's okay too. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're in a society where it's like, oh, you have freedom of speech. Well, no, we don't, because everyone's getting censored these days.
Or you get trolls.
Or
Get
trolls
cancelled.
and all this stuff. But don't let that stop you from wanting to speak your truth, because there's someone in this world, I can't remember how many people's on the planet. Does anyone know the actual stats?
No.
Too many.
Lots. Over 1 billion.
Billions.
There's
yeah.
somebody out there that will resonate with you. Do you get what I'm saying? And I don't necessarily do it directly for it to resonate with other people, because I'm speaking my truth, but also we are trying to create a change.
We hope it does.
Yeah, we
for
hope
some
it does,
people,
definitely. And do you feel like recording your podcast, because Roshan doesn't do videos like we do, she does it on audio, so you do it on all platforms, Apple, Spotify,
All of them.
all of them. But do you feel like it helps with your anxiety at all? Because you mentioned that you suffer from anxiety.
Yeah, it does. It definitely has helped a lot. But I don't listen back to the podcast.
Oh, you don't?
No. So the other day I was with my friends, and they were like, "Oh, it was so funny when you said that." And I was like, "When did I say that?" Podcast. Or I was with someone else, and they were like, "I didn't know you liked blah blah." And I'm like, "How do you know that?" And they're like, "The podcast." But it's again because I'm so transparent, and I go on there and just Shan.
And you just flow.
And I just flow.
Yeah.
Once I've left that podcast, once I've clicked leave Zoom meeting or whatever, it's over. I don't watch it back. So I think there's more work that can be done, but it's definitely helped. Because I don't listen back and I don't make an active decision to share it.
Okay.
So there's and it's me talking to you guys now that I'm like, I've ticked this box of doing the podcast. What can I do now more to grow? Because I think a lot of people as well, they become complacent. So you can be goals driven, which you can, and like to reach your targets. And then when you reach them, what are you next going to do? I think it's really important that people always think about the next steps once they get it. And that's why it's important to write your goals down. Then you know you've made that goal.
Just move the goal post a little bit.
Because like sometimes I'll be like, what am I going to do next? Oh, I'm doing what I actually wanted to be doing. Okay. And you don't get that time to even just reward yourself.
For sure.
But what has helped with my confidence is the Instagram lives.
Okay.
Like if you, I swear I messaged you before my first one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do it. Can you please? Because you think about silly things like how many people are going to be in the live. That doesn't actually matter.
That's why I don't do lives.
A live is a big like.
It's a lot.
It's next level to pre-recorded stuff, because if you F up, no one can't see it in the minute, whereas we can just edit something out, you wouldn't really know.
Like, I remember I flipped the camera the other way around. Like it was little things like that no one would really pick up as a big thing, that afterwards I was like, oh, does that happen? But after like the second live, now I'm cool. Put me on any live, I'm down. And even if I didn't do the lives, I probably wouldn't have done this now with the camera. So the live definitely helped with my anxiety because I was forced to do it.
It's like once you overcome that fear, you break that barrier.
And that's why it's important to have people around you that want to see you win. Because I have said to Leanne, my partner, several times, oh, you do that. You do that. So we've been on Radio 4, you do that. I don't know. Like, there's loads of times I've said it, and now she's like, no, Shan, you do it. So she's making me grow. So like, with the Instagram lives, I was like, oh, can you do it? Not like to shift the weight on her, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to that area. And she's like, Shan, we're going to do it every other week, and I will do the other weeks. And I'm like, okay. Balance. So like, when you have people around you like that, you're forced to grow. And if I didn't have there's other people that's contributed towards my growth. But in terms of my anxiety in that area, I could have easily have still been in that box that I was in before COVID, because we only started the lives when COVID started, so I could have easily have still been in that box. That's why it's so important to just know who your tribe are and who your community is, and make sure they're people that are all pushing you forward, because otherwise, if you don't have that, you're limiting yourself so much that it's nuts. Because I might now get a speaking arrangement for something, I'm going to be like, yeah, I can go there and I can do it, I'm good. Whereas last year, there was loads of things I could have done speaking that I turned down. That's money, you know?
So do you feel
I need
like...
to overcome that fear.
Do you feel like okay, now you overcome the fear of lives, have you had any direct opportunities that come from your lives? Or even if it's just like the growing of your page, followers, has there been anything that stood out to you where it's been like, okay, if I hadn't done my live, if I allowed that fear to stop me,
on that, or I may not have been doing that. Well, like you said, you probably wouldn't have been here.
So that, and also I think, for me, I don't think there's anything can overtake personal growth. So when you're saying that, I can't think of something directly now, but there probably is. But I think I still would choose the personal growth. Because if you knew how against it I was,
it's the greatest.
It's the maddest thing. Even like, I've got more pictures of me on Dope Black Women than I have on my personal page. I post once a year on Instagram. This year I posted twice. This is amazing. No, it's an achievement. It's actually an achievement.
Yeah.
Whereas like, on there, I've got pictures of me with no makeup on, pictures of me with my headscarf.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to know what I look like, you follow that account. You know what I mean? Like, it's the madness. And that personal growth can't be taken anywhere. And because that page and that community has helped me to grow so much, that I was able to be one of the girls on house party with no makeup on and not feel away.
Yeah.
At the start, everyone was doing it. Some girls' faces were beat to the glass.
Yeah.
And that's what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
That might be something you like. You might not have the confidence to not do it, or maybe you have the confidence to do both, and on that day you wanted to have it. Like, I'm not slating those girls, but to be able to be in a space where it's like, I can show up and just be me,
Just hold your space.
is powerful.
For sure. 100%.
And I was gonna. Oh yeah. So Roshan's got a Ludo obsession.
Yeah,
So you know the game.
I love
Ludo. So can I just ask, did that come out of COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Roshan plays it on her phone.
I don't even
with
fully
random
understand what it
people.
It's
is.
amazing.
Like, I've played it a couple times with my little sister, and I've seen my dad do it and slam down the things on the board.
Is that dominoes?
No, it's Ludo.
it's
It's like
Ludo.
frustration, but not frustration.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
the
The
Jamaican
Jamaican
version of frustration.
yeah.
Okay,
So it's,
okay.
the board's just a hard board, wooden board, and someone's painted it to make it look cute, and then you dash the dice and you got to get home without
Okay.
getting killed, basically. That's how you play
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So Roshan's like queen of Ludo, so hit her up if you want to join her in a game online for Ludo.
No, I love it.
And then I also wanted to touch on council culture.
That's interesting.
What's your thoughts on council culture? Because you know why I asked this?
talking
I
about
saw a
this yesterday.
post, I think it was yesterday, and it's the best post I've seen on Instagram for a long time. And it was someone who tweeted saying that if you think that you can, if you think, it was something like, I'm a divine being, so no one can cancel me.
I think
Do you know what I mean?
Did you share it?
No, I should have though.
Oh,
I should have shared it, but I feel like a lot of people did share it. That's why I got to see it. And I thought that's such a valid statement. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, especially, I don't really use Twitter, and a part of that is because I'm scared. Because
100%.
you people on Twitter are sick,
Angry, man.
angry.
I remember one day I tweeted
Y'all need
something,
therapy.
They're so vicious
about single mums. It was not getting at them. It was just a statement.
Yeah.
The whole of single mum Twitter came for me. My phone was blowing up. I had a panic attack at work. And I was like, what's
Is it
going to
like all
happen
the
now?
unhappy people are on
It
Twitter?
was just nuts. Like there's tribes, isn't it? And once it starts retweeting, you're out of control.
And I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
with Twitter, it's
fine,
Twitter
man.
fingers. Like, because you
Don't
don't
say it
have
in
to...
real life.
Yeah, huh?
No one's
Exactly.
gonna say it in real life.
It's because I feel like because you don't have to, you are hiding behind. It's just a small little profile. You don't have to upload pictures. So I
Probably
feel
a fake
like
name.
yeah, like I feel like a lot of people it's just Twitter fingers and people just being negative Nancy's because a lot of the time it is negative. And again, it's like I feel like we need to get comfortable in respecting people's opinions, and if you don't understand it, try to understand it by having a intellectual conversation about it. Do you know what I mean? And be diplomatic and stop speaking from your own personal feelings.
Do you know what makes me laugh? Is that people get so upset about people's opinions, but who are these people anyway? Like, the world is so massive. This is why I don't really get upset about people's opinions, because I feel like the world is so massive. There's so many people here. And if you think about it, you're just one little person. Doesn't take away from your greatness. Do you know what I mean? But you are literally just like a needle in a haystack. And then this other person's just some other needle in a haystack. Not that you're not important. Your mum loves you and all that. Do you know what I mean? But, yeah, do you know what I mean? You're important. Do you know what I mean? But who really cares about your opinion? I'm probably never going to see you. There's God knows how many more people in the world. Just even the same thing, like even like if you're in a relationship or you're in a partnership or whatever. If a guy wants to leave, it might break your heart. I get it, but just let him go. Just let him go. Do you know what I mean? Because yet again, like people feel like there's a lack sometimes. They feel like there's a limit of options. They lack confidence or whatever. Sometimes, but there is people out there. There's someone for everyone. There's always people talking the most shit. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just not following people like Trump. You know, when I see Trump saying certain things, for instance, like to me, he's an antagonist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
100%.
when I see him saying certain things, I'm just like, dickhead. And I just keep
Yeah.
scrolling. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah, like I don't fully need to get engaged in dumb people. Like if your ideology doesn't fit in with mine, that's cool. I might either learn something from you or I'll just say you're a dickhead and keep it moving.
But you know, so since you spoke about Trump, can I just say that although Trump is can be a dickhead, I appreciate his authenticity.
That's how I feel about
He's
Piers
just a
Morgan.
businessman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, Piers Morgan this, he's racist, he's this, he's that. But I'm like, I can't discredit someone for being true to who they are.
Yeah, 100%.
So his views don't align with mine.
Yeah.
And I think he's handled topics that I agree with, that he disagrees with in a very horrible manner.
Yeah.
But he sticks to who he is. And that actually inspires me. That actually inspires me.
100%.
Yeah, because
he's
someone
still
it shows
Brit,
you
though.
that someone will listen to you even if you talk shit. Do you know what I mean? There's a place for it. Do you know what I mean? So let all the people that want to talk shit cluster together and all be like angry and shouting at each
Even
other
like,
and correcting
you
each
know these
other.
girls, Gas Up Lights, have you seen them?
I saw their name on a ZZ Mills video, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, so like everyone's always getting at them. They're basically two young girls and they're two lighties and they call themselves the queen of UK rap and they're gassed up lighties, what it says in the title. But you know what? Like what everyone gets at them, but I respect their hustle. Do you know what I mean? Like they're using their lightiness, I don't know what you call it, and they're using what they have to try and make a change, and they're rapping. They've been given an opportunity and that's what they're doing. No, I don't listen to their music and I probably won't, but I respect the hustle. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like, again, like I feel like people were trying to get at them for saying, oh, they're the queen, they're not in the position to say that they're queen of the UK. Okay, yes, they might not have the right accolades to actually on paper to say that they're the queen of the UK.
Might be
But if
affirmation.
yeah, but at the same time, preach it. If that's what you're aspired to be, then yes, walk around saying you're the queen of the UK. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm wearing a necklace today saying queen because I believe that I'm a queen, whether you think I'm a queen or not. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like we all have to, again, take ourselves out of our own personal feelings. And although you might not do that, why shouldn't that person do that if that's the opportunity that's been given to them? Do you know what I mean?
No one, you ain't hurting no one.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
As long as you're not hurting no animals, hurting no feelings, then I feel like you're fine.
Yeah, just drink your water. You're alright, man.
Yeah,
You
literally.
know, it's all good.
Wiley. Have you heard about what's happened with Wiley?
I've heard about it, but I haven't
something
really
or
dived. I haven't
something.
really dig deep
He's a bit
into it.
racist, right? Or
that
said
anti-
something racist.
He said
and-
Semitic
yeah,
things
against
about,
Jewish people or
against
something.
Jewish people.
Yeah, right.
So they've cancelled him off Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all social media platforms basically. But this is what I think, to be honest. Again, I think, yeah, some of his statements are a bit wild, but I feel like you should, just because you've said something that the people don't agree with, why should you be cancelled off Twitter, YouTube, and all social media platforms?
Anyone that says anything against Jewish people are automatically anti-Semitic, and it's because they run the media. They own the media.
Do you get what I'm saying? They are the elite. They are the 1%.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, you've got Katie Hopkins out here talking wild on every social media platform about black people on a daily basis, and I think she only just got her Twitter suspended,
Yeah.
and she's been doing that for years. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think that's what the issue is, though. I think I don't really know the ins and outs of Wiley's case. I know a lot about Katie Hopkins because she's just a full-time troll. But I think with the issue is how they deal with the content. It's even like the BBC News the other day. So
I saw that.
There was a news piece where they said the N-word on it, and they had reasons reasons that they thought was okay to use, and I'm not gonna say whether that was right or wrong because I have my own opinion on it. But the issue that I thought was interesting is that the piece before that about Wiley, they thought it was too sensitive to reveal the tweet, and that is problematic. So the tweet couldn't be revealed, but using the N-word could be revealed. So I think the wider issue is how we deal with black issues versus everybody else.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're always at the bottom of the pile. But when it comes to cancel culture, I find it very mad because I feel like we're all human beings and we're all meant to grow. So if you don't allow me to grow, then what the hell am I here for? And I think that's problematic. So we see it on Twitter with like Nella Rose the other day. I think she tweeted some pretty distasteful things towards Somalians. But it was arguably in a time where Twitter was used in that sort of way. And I'm not saying that it was right, but don't take things out of context. Like, everyone on Twitter was being horrible. I never used Twitter for that reason because they were being nasty. If you wasn't like university pretty, you shouldn't have used that app. You shouldn't even logged in. Like, it wasn't that. It was a horrible place. And it's not to say that validates it, because that was still disgusting. But if you look at who she is now as a person, you can tell she's not that person anymore. So should we try to cancel her? No. But should we educate her on where she went wrong?
Yeah.
Yes. And her response to that, we then make a decision. Do you understand what I mean? But the world's mad because the world would be like, oh, let's cancel her, me. Then the week after, I think her dad passed away, and she put up a post about it. Now we're all vanilla.
Yeah.
But then and
Look what they did to poor Kevin
it's
as
mad.
well.
And then,
Poor
like,
Kevin
I know.
3
Yeah.
months before, with what's that lady's name that passed away?
Oh, the one
Is
who's
it Laura
pregnant.
Whitmore? Is that the right lady's name?
Oh,
From Love Island.
Caroline.
Caroline Black. Sorry, I think
yeah,
Laura Whitmore was her friend.
Her friend.
Okay, yeah.
But like when she passed away, everyone was talking about cancel culture, how we shouldn't do this, and mental health this and mental health
And
that.
go right back into it.
And then we go right back into it. Like nobody knows, and this conversation keeps going in full circle, which I love when that happens. But like a lot of people aren't in touch with themselves. So because of that, they're just following the crowd. They're just jumping on what that person's doing, what that person's doing.
Yeah.
I feel like if a lot of people knew who they were and who they stood for, we wouldn't have so much of this jumping around.
Yeah.
Because you can't in March be like, we shouldn't be knocking people down in response to Caroline Flack, but then in April be sending Lena hate messages. Like they sent her evil stuff.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, this is something this is what I think that, and I think some people think that I'm really outrageous sometimes when I say certain things, but that's why I just kind of feel like for me personally, I'm like, I just want to detach from certain things, from the system, etc. But people think I'm doing the most when I say that, but I'm like, if you live in a society where certain people make the rules and those people happen to be predominantly racist and think it's okay and have thought, like, because the people that run the world now, their ancestors did the most barbaric things to other human beings, and a lot of the laws are predicated upon those old laws which serve Europeans, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of like, so even in entertainment and whatever else it is, to be honest, all the laws are still made by the same people. So whether it's entertainment, finance, whatever industries you want to talk about, in this society, I'm not being funny, but it's Jewish and it's mainly Jewish people and white people that run things. Do you know what I mean? So that's why when you say something that's against Jewish people, whatever, they'll just take it down.
Yeah, of course.
Because they run the thing in it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to operate within the parameters of a society that it's not made for you.
Right.
So when you get high up in their ranks, which they probably allowed you to do anyway,
because it benefits them
yeah,
financially.
you know, or for whatever reason, whatever it is you're promoting, they're okay with it, or whatever, you've got your place in their scheme or agenda. Do you know what I mean? But you get to a certain place, and if they're dissatisfied with something that you're doing, they just cut you off. Same thing they did with Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon, right? He's got he had his own show, Wilding Out. Yeah, he said something yet again against Jewish people, and then they took down his shit.
Yeah.
You know, so careful, don't talk about the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay, if you some shit online. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what it is. And people just, I think people need to, again, it's personal responsibility. You got to know your place. You got to know your place in society, like where you're at, and who's pulling your strings. Do you know what I mean? Before you.
And I also think as well, like, I genuinely believe, which is also on our post of 6 tips to enlightenment, freedom, and truth. I do feel like, genuinely, like deep down in my heart, I'm interested to see what your perspective is, that the answer to having a society where we are more accepted is to create our own. And unfortunately, I don't believe that can be done on European land. Do you get what I'm saying? I do believe it's going to take us to go back to our country, where we're from, so like Caribbean or Africa, where where our ancestors were taken in slave ships many years ago, to this land and build our own community and societies there. I feel like, yes, we do need black military. Do you know what I mean? Yes, we do need black owned banks. We do need black owned cryptocurrencies. Do you know what I mean? That's the only way I feel like we can generally have power. Like, even when we're talking about like the mindset for lack of women, like when you're stopping another girl from reaching their goal, whether that be speaking negatively about them or whatever the situation, like even with the job thing that you spoke out of your friend, like ultimately you're going to work for a white man. Do you get what I'm saying? What are you even really fighting for? Does that make sense? Like, and I feel like that's how people need to start looking at things, and I feel like we do need to start making plans to migrate back home. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like
even if you're not migrating home, stop. As black people, if you're a black person that complains about how things are,
They're the worst though.
Yeah.
They don't want to do
If,
change.
if you're complaining about how things are, like, it's at a point where you can complain all you like you're actually wasting your breath.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're either going to do something about it or you're not. So even if you're not going to go to the homelands or wherever and develop something yourself, invest in your lands, invest in your brothers and sisters who are doing things that are going to help to create change for not only us who's here now, but our people that's in front of us. Because unless we start thinking like big picture, we're always going to be in that state of my life, where am I at, and that only works for day to day, this now. That's not going to create no long-term solutions. It's not going to create no longevity. It's not going to create nothing for our children. That's why lots of black people don't have generational wealth. It's why, do you know what I mean? Like, black business, like, there's a lot of black businesses that are great, do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of black businesses that are just not, that are not doing as well as they should, or they don't have certain work ethic or whatever. And I don't believe in working till you are, killing yourself out or whatever. No. But I think working that smart, there's like a lack of really putting your head down, having critical thinking, discovering your purpose, and then following that all the way through right to the end. And I don't blame people, because I understand that from slavery, that was something that was taken away from us, like even just understanding who we are. I was listening to something the other day where they was talking about, it's like Slavery Diaries. Okay. And
was it a podcast or YouTube?
No, it's actually read out by like different actors, like Samuel Jackson, all this kind of stuff. And one guy said he didn't even know what his real didn't know what his real name was, and that at some point someone said he was allowed to rename himself after he got free. He didn't know how old he was. He didn't realize, he didn't get told how old he was until he was 26. He said my master sat down with me and he told me that I'm 26 and that I was brought here when I was 12 and they paid $800 for me.
That's mad.
Do you know what I mean? And then obviously they weren't allowed to read, they weren't allowed to educate themselves, they weren't allowed to keep any of their own culture or any of their own personal identity, their practices and things like. Do you know what I mean? Get them strong. So there's that whole loss of identity. Do you know what I mean? And then it's kind of so many things, psychological trauma and things have kind of are still here being perpetuated today, and people don't really understand how prevalent it is, because people do think, that was, hundreds of years ago, but no, it only finished. Slavery only really finished a little while ago.
On it like 2 years ago, mate.
Yeah, we had to pay taxes.
Realise how subconscious everything is. Yeah. Because I was watching the Channel 4 documentary, The Talk. Have you seen it?
No.
So it's basically like celebrities, and they literally sit down like this, the camera's there, and they're just talking about the experience of racism.
Oh my God, was Michelle Hums on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it.
And there was a guy in it that spoke about something, and I can't remember exactly what he said, so I'm going to paraphrase it, but it really resonated with me. And he basically said that when he goes home, and everyone's like him, he lived abroad, I think, in Grenada for a bit, and everyone's like him. Like the bank owners are black, the president's black, everyone in high positions are black, so you just feel empowered.
Yeah.
And he said that when he came here, he saw someone who had a Sikh turban on, and he was like, he automatically remembered that he was in the UK, and all of a sudden he felt this weight on him of like having to put back on the black man in the UK. And I remember the first time I went abroad to the Caribbean. And on the plane back, I cried. And I thought I cried because I was on holiday and I'm crying.
That's Antigua.
It wasn't, I wasn't crying. Like now I'm old enough, I look back. I wasn't crying because I was leaving the country. I go on holiday all the time.
Yeah.
I was crying because I didn't know if I was going to feel that level of peace again. And that level of peace is a peace that you can't find anywhere but the homeland. Do you understand what I mean? Like, when I'm like, if I'm here and I've put on weight, like now I've put on weight, and like if I'm here, well, I don't really have this issue now, but before I would feel like really conscious of it, like, can I wear this? Can I wear that? When you're at home,
anything
goes.
Yes.
So like body image, obviously it's still a thing out there, but it's nowhere near as how it is here.
And it's because you can see representations
of
who
yourself.
you are.
And it's not in like
the
a negative way. Like everything there, because they don't have the same privileges that we do here, like the NHS and stuff. So their whole vibe in the Caribbean, as an example, is community based. So because of that, when you're there, everything is a community. Like to ask someone like minor things is not
an issue.
It's not an issue, whereas here it is an issue. Like you can go there and ask strangers, like you can go there and it's easier to just be chilling on the road and just talk to someone for hours on end. Not because they're unemployed or they're bored, but because they're actually invested in learning from you and talking to you. You can't really have that here. Like there's so much like toxicness that goes around.
Barriers.
But
Everyone's so self-obsessed. I feel like
it's
survival
mad.
mode a
It's
lot.
mad.
Yeah,
100%.
it is actually mad.
So what's next for Roshan? Don't Clap Women. Summer's nearly over. We've had a great summer since March.
Oh,
We've had
yeah.
nice weather. I mean, I kind of have a lot of... I'm excited for the next phase, winter. But I know a lot of things are going to go down in the world. So I hope, you know, me and Chanel will do our best to prepare you guys for that as we do more podcasts as we approach those months. But what's next for you? Like, what's your plans? Do you have any?
Stepping out in confidence still, in various ways. So as we spoke about earlier on, by posting stuff online at work that I'm doing. And I've sort of started doing it on my Snapchat by posting
Shouting
work.
about your success a little bit.
Yeah, I've started doing that now.
Yeah.
Before I didn't do that. One of my friends sent me a goal of being more confident this year, so I've got to leave the year more confident than I started at.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until COVID where I actually started putting that into action. So definitely that. But then also it's just a lot of you know what you said a minute ago about your job, and you was like, you feel like you're a service to others and helping them. That's you finding your purpose. And I felt like for a long time that was always mine. And then now I've got Dope Black Women as a platform. My heart is just in that platform. So the rest of my year is just dedicated to serving black women in more ways than one.
Yeah.
So like I've got loads of ideas that I need to execute, but I don't want to just do it like, oh yeah, I've done this, oh I've done that. I want it to be done properly. So the rest of the year is going to be like just ground mode, just planning everything out, so that next year it's just going to be done properly. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
It's been a year of growth.
Yeah. And I just so you guys know, like I was saying earlier, that me and Michelle have been friends for
Like 12 years? 13 years?
about 12, 13 years. And our mums and families have become quite close and stuff like that. So it's been really inspiring for me to see my dope black friend just living her best life and doing everything that she said she was going to do. Like from school, from a young age, we always said to each other, we was actually hella confident in school. We were hella confident. We thought we were the shit, yeah? But we also knew that we were going to be successful. And although our success, it's quite funny how Roshan like went to uni, studied media, etc. She's got to where she's got to now. I went a completely different route and I didn't go to uni, and obviously I got a job in real estate. But it's actually quite nice that we've both ended up in very similar spaces. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, obviously, Roshan's got her platform, we've got ours. So it's really nice for me to see that everything's come full circle. And I'm so proud to have you as my friend. And I want to say that on camera. Like, and this is what we need to see in day-to-day lives. Do you know what I mean? Like, pick your tribe. I knew from a young age she was my sister. Like, although we sometimes bump heads, there's never anything we haven't been able to get over because we respect each other's opinion. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's not been an argument, it's just been a conversation.
Yeah, and I feel, or disagreement or whatever. And I feel like once you're able to accept someone for who they truly are, like anything can grow from that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, this is just a great example of a dope black sisterhood. And even with me and Chanel as well. So we really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we'll be back next time with another guest.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for coming on. Bye.
Bye.